Maybe some of you know me from my YouTube channel, Hardcore Crypto. That's pretty much how I ended up working on this fantastic ZZZ.finance project. So in terms of ZZZ Finance, it's a community project. It's a DeFi project that is solely controlled by the community, which is very unusual right now in this space, considering that there is just a lot of new projects, but governance tend to be the problem right now. And even some of the larger popular projects haven't managed to solve the governance problem. And we're one of the few projects that are doing it successfully. And also, we're being audited right now. If you come across our website, you would see that we have an invoice that was sent out by Certic, which was paid for because they're auditing our code. And in a few days from now, the report should be released. But we're confident that we're fine. And also, we have new pools launching tomorrow, which presents a large opportunity for a lot of people that are coming into the space. So what we have is that we have the ZZZ token, which is the main governance token, and governance will launch very soon as well. And then we have the NAP token, which is kind of like the fuel token, and then we also have Dream. Dream is kind of like a very new baby, and most of the tokenomics of that has not been figured out fully yet. So it's not capped at the moment. It's very new. But ZZZ has a total supply of 20,000 ZZZ. And NAP has about 20 million. So as you can see, ZZZ even has a lesser supply as compared to projects like Yearn Finance or Wi-Fi, which has about 30,000. So we're very confident, and even some of the projects that are big in the space have borrowed some of our technology that we have been building on. And as we speak, we are fully community backed. We have pairs on Uniswap of ZZZ to ETH, and on CoinTiger we have ZZZ and USDT pairs, which means that we have liquidity. And also in the for NAP token, we have NAP to ZZZ pairs on Uniswap, and for Dream we have Dream USDT and Dream Ethereum. So because this is a community governance project, there is a lot coming into the space, and we're also working on new collaborations with other projects to allow for more pairs to be staked within our ecosystem. So I wish you guys could see my screen, but I don't know what's wrong with the Discord day. But what you can do is later on you can feel free to go around and have a look at the project information or at ZZZ.finance. So I mean, there were questions that needed to be asked. I'm just going to address them quickly before we even go into we go to the break. So people asked whether our dream is to keep on building the ecosystem. So the answer to that is, number one, we want to build a gamified product with unique mechanics that is yet to be seen. And also we want to keep launching on some pools with basic mechanics to replace current ones to keep conversations and ecosystem rolling, so that the ecosystems it's still going while we build. And these contracts have been polished quite a bit. These are the contracts that we have, and also for the newly coming pools that will start launching tomorrow. So it could not be tomorrow. You guys know how development works. It could be tomorrow, or it could be in a few days. And in the future, we're looking at introducing different spendable mechanics, but those ideas need to be refined by the community, because everyone can come up with ideas, but it is the community that decides. And also, the original plan is to do partnership projects with the spendables. like I said before. So, a lot of that is coming on the table. And we managed to raise about 60 Ethereum from the community to make sure that we can get listed on in a top tier exchange, one of the largest. But I will not announce the details of those conversations at this point. It's something that we'll see. I think it will be announced very soon, and then you guys will be able to hear the conversation. At the same time, this is a community project, so we're expecting new ideas to come through to the table, and we're expecting more developers, more creatives to come to the table and join the community, take charge of the project, and start building cool stuff. So I think that's pretty much about it. And another important thing to me is that we have no VC. There was no pre-mine, no VC, no OTC or early VC wallets or anything like that happens in crypto. This was purely, is 100% owned by the community. So yeah, I think that's a very, very important part. And we're already on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, as well as on Uniswap, obviously. So that's about it. And we have really been good. We've been in touch with our timeline as well in terms of what we're trying to do and where we're at. So I'm looking at questions. I'll start answering those. Okay. So will there be new single token staking pools for ZZZ and DreamSwap, including support for communities like ETH and Link? How will Dream be integrated with ZZZ and NAP further for more utility across the ecosystem? So for Dream, for example, it's the utility for that still need to be figured out fully. So I think that Dream has a lot going on for it, since that there hasn't been a lot of development going on the Dream side, because the devs have been very focused on ZZZ NAP. But I think Dream is where I see a lot of integrations moving forward. In terms of the second part of your question, support for communities like ETH and Link, I think that's just a matter of time, and also some of the partnerships that we trying to make right now. It's just that the crypto community is a little bit unfriendly to community projects, because most crypto projects are designed as for-profit businesses purely, right? So they don't really have the patience to pay attention to community-related stuff. As you can tell, even Dash went through the same thing. But over time, I believe there will be all those utilities across the different ecosystems. And Ramsey said, what is the financial incentive for a developer to contribute to this project? How are the developers paid? Good question. Right now, the community still demands how things pretty much run. But if you are a developer, you have much level of control of how things should run. So we can run fundraising rounds to make sure that we have enough money for developers. We can run a vote to say a governance vote to decide how much budget should be allocated to developers, pretty much like all the other community run projects are running right now. So that's how it's been going, and we hope that continues as well. And it will be, right now it's a little bit unclear, because most of the devs that we have jumped to the projects earlier on, and they have been compensated in different ways, including the token appreciation. But for once the governance token is out, we'll now be able to have a much more clearer way of doing things. So we need devs obviously to help contribute and also design governance models. What would that look like? So that will look like the mechanics now of so this is someone asking about how the governance currently work. So there is right now sort of a large community across all our platforms. So the decisions are gone through there, whether we have to do right now it's done through things like fundraising. Like if we want to get listed on an exchange, you put the idea out, propose the amount of ETH to be raised for that to happen. If the community want it, they'll fund it. If they don't, they just don't do it. But moving forward, we'll have a voting system, which means, one token, one vote. And we're just going to have a governance platform, propose ideas, and then the community can pretty much vote yes or no. And then after a period of time, we can say give it a week or two. If it's a no after 2 weeks, it's not happening. If it's a yes within the time period, then the idea will go through. What are the top governance proposals that have passed? Any specifics you find most interesting? I think the developers. I am the head of marketing, so my interests a little bit different. But I think the developers would give you a very good answer to that in terms of the protocol at a protocol level, which you can find if you join any of our groups. It can be Telegram or Discord. You can ask them and they can tell you what has been interesting. Besides, I need to point out that I'm very new to this project. I just liked it for some time, and then I ended up getting plugged into it myself. So I might not know enough of some of this stuff. But when it comes to governance specifically, I think you need to speak to our dev team, which probably some of them will be more than happy to come in here and also answer a couple of questions. So is the Celtic audit completion a prerequisite to be listed on the exchange that has been teased? Has there been any bugs found that has delayed the audit result? No, it's not really a requirement for the exchange that we're trying to list, but it's just, I think, a very important step to take for a community like ours. For number one, make sure that we're building very robust systems. Number two, for the sake of trust for everyone who is getting into the ecosystem and buying these tokens. Number three, to also be taken seriously out there. The cryptocurrency community right now, especially in DeFi, it's becoming more meme-like, where things are becoming less and less serious all the time. Nobody's auditing their code; they're just writing and they test in production. Right, and we're trying to take a little bit of a different approach to that, because there's just a lot of scams and money grabs and just laziness, pure laziness. So we're trying to invest in things that we think are very important and will have an impact on our project long term. And no, there hasn't been any bugs that have delayed the audit result, but we're waiting for it. So I think we have Crypto Beard here, and he says governance V1 will most likely be a snapshot. V2 will be glassless transaction relay using gas stations funded by the projects, not the voters. Okay, thanks for the correction. So Crypto Beard, the dev. Is exchange listing certain or still fundraising? We raised the funds that we needed for that specific task, but we're still in conversations with the exchanges, and then that will happen. But the fundraising is done. We pretty much managed to raise the amount of we needed. We needed about 60 Ethereum, and we were successful, all by the community itself. Active. What is your plan regarding marketing for the ZZZ ecosystem going forward? We still have kind of a bad aura floating over us because of the botched V1 pools we had. Do you have a plan to remedy this? So I think success is the best plan at this point. We should just make sure that the current pools never gets botched or anything negative happening, and we will use the audit reports as a marketing tool for us. But also, I have managed to create a team of new members who are now working on different parts of the project to make sure that we have a PR strategy. We have a consistent way of sort of doing things in terms of design and everything else. But also, we will use our exchange listing as a marketing strategy. I think once we have some of those very important, there's some noise. Crypto Beard, you want to mute your mic? I think once we have done some of the very basic elements, which are big steps for us that we're trying to do, I think the bad news will sort of go away. I don't think you can run away from completely bad praise in an ecosystem that is super fast as DeFi, where you're building and then already things are in production. Everybody has had that, whether it's sushi or Yam or what have you, and some of those projects have still continued to become successful. So at this point, it's just about resilience, and people will see that we're onto something real, and it's community based. And if our pools become successful moving forward without any major problems, I think we should be fine. And we're growing. If you're paying attention to our numbers, you would see that we're actually growing very fast. And to add to your question as well, so yeah, we have interest of a couple of influencers in the crypto space, some YouTubers, some writers that will be writing positively about us. Obviously, I mean, not in a very biased way, but we have a lot of good things going on that nobody is talking about. Obviously, the crypto space like the negative stuff so much. It's crypto Twitter. So we have all those things in place that are upcoming. We have the ZZZ University as well, the Dream University, where we'll have a lot of educational material about our ecosystem and DeFi in general, which will help draw new people into the ecosystem, but also help people learn more about us and for them to see that we actually care. Do you see exchange listing as momentum building? So what happened with projects like Wi-Fi 2 growing significantly in community and price when it got listed on major exchange? Have you guys been studying their rise? Absolutely, yeah. So that's one thing that I'm here to do, is to make sure that those kind of moves are being made, because I think the crypto exchanges are sort of the verifier, whether people like it or not. Once a project make it onto the top tier exchange, everybody believes in it, right? Which is a good and a bad thing. But in our case, it's a bad thing because we're a legitimate project anyway. When we get listed, we get more praise. And by speaking to the exchanges, they actually ask for a marketing budget when you're paying them the listing fees, which means that we'll be able to list the platforms to now get a lot more interest from the market. Okay, so I think I've overstayed. I was meant to do this for about 20 minutes, the presentation part. So I need to go because I have another call right after this in 5 minutes. But thank you guys for being here. And if you have any other questions, I do recommend that you come through into our Telegram groups to make sure that all your questions can get answered, and you also get to know some of our community members. And I hope you become part of the ZZZ community, and also be active on Twitter and tell other people about it. And maybe we could actually see a Wi-Fi sort of trajectory with this. And that's what I believe that would happen. It might not be as, I don't think any project will ever exceed Bitcoin anymore after the Wi-Fi thing. But I think we have the potential to come something close to that. We just have to, we early in this, you and I, if you're listening to this, we're super early in this. So I think it's just, everybody has to do something to make sure that we are known. And the more people learn about us, we have a very, very small supply of tokens. We're capped at 20,000. So if we had just to get, say, 1 million people interested into this, it would just mean a completely different day for us. So I hope I'll see you in our community. So thank you guys.